Max. Hi. Is it very early there in Europe? Yeah? And we're already in Mahathir's hometown, Alor Setar. Yeah, that's where we're gonna have interview with him. I spoke with Mohammed Mahathir for the first time on the topic of the downed Malaysian Boeing 4 years ago. At the time, he was the opposition leader and stated that unlike the West, he doesn't see Russia's guilt in this tragedy. But now he's the leader of the country. And in the MH17 case, new details have appeared. So what will he tell me today, shortly before the 5th anniversary? Salam to Mahathir, apa kabar? My investigative partner Max van der Werf is sure the Prime Minister will be diplomatic and will say nothing out of the ordinary. The Netherlands and Australia, they formally stated that Russia is responsible for the shooting of MH17.
They are not really looking at the causes of the crash and who was responsible, but already they have decided that it must be Russia. We cannot accept that kind of attitude.
Malaysian investigative team were not allowed to become a full member of GIT for the first 6 months, I think. Do you know why?
This is unfair and unusual. The plane is ours, and there were Malaysians flying in the plane. They also died. So it's natural that Malaysia should be the first country that should be involved in the investigation. But they insist, well, they didn't insist, they just ignored us, took the black box and carried out their own investigation.
Yes, Jana, here is the building of the Joint Investigation Team in Rotterdam. You know, I tried very hard, sent emails for a request for an interview with Mr. Westerbeke, with other people, with representatives. They all rejected to talk to us. They don't want to answer questions. They don't give interviews at the moment. So we have 000. Nobody is interested to talk about it.
I told Jana that it was all in vain. I have already written the Joint Investigation Team more than 10 times. The answer is always the same. We will not give you an interview. We will not answer your questions.
Max, but the head of JIT gave an interview to the Russian Novaya Gazeta.
Now, of course, that's the liberal newspaper sponsored by the Dutch government.
Right.
I can't wait to see the important material that Jana brought from Malaysia. But while we are heading to the hotel, we are recalling how it was and how it all started 5 years ago at the beginning of our investigation.
I interviewed a lawyer who called on the Dutch Prime Minister to transfer the MH17 case to an independent investigation at the UN.
I'm not afraid from no one, so I took the risk. I urged the Prime Minister. I hold him liable.
Because 3 months passed and the Dutch had not even taken the debris from the crash site.
But Mr. van der Hoorn was pressured to abandon his idea. I came to get comments from the lawyer, but instead of him, there were 2 strangers in the apartment. I asked Mr. van der Go if he could comment on him being pressured.
Already told
But you told Mr. van der Go not to come, right?
That's true.
That's true.
That's absolutely
and you
true.
tell me that he's not coming, but you want to talk to me, right?
Absolutely.
They suggested to make a deal and strongly recommended not to use the first interview with a lawyer.
I'm interested in you because I know what you can do. I don't know. But if you work together, you always find things, you have contacts, you say this and that. That's how you help each other in the case that you want to build.
I decided to call this Ed Senke to clarify the situation, but without any success. We haven't been able to reach the lawyer ever since either. Hopefully everything is okay with him.
While the Dutch investigation was becoming more secretive, the Malaysian side was doing a very important job, collecting the black boxes from the conflict area in Ukraine where the plane crashed. Colonel Sakri and his team were in Kiev the very next day after the tragedy, and after 2 days already at the crash site. But it's not as easy as it sounds.
I talked to my Prime Minister, and he directed me to go to crash sites immediately. I said, we have not allowed to go there until the such that permission from the Ukraine government. So I take a small team to leave Kharkiv, going to Donner secretly. So that was the mission that I have had to do it. Because why? We cannot afford to wait. Mr. Borodai was the head of the separatists. The rebel was waiting for us. And my conversation with the Mr. Borodai, they said, why are you so late? That was the, sometimes I think very funny. Our sincere appreciation to His Excellency.
Я выражаю искреннюю признательность его превосходительству господину Бородаю
for giving us the opportunity
за то, что он дал нам возможность
and attain our request. At the rebel side was so welcome, and at the Ukraine side was so tense in terms of the situations. That was a blessing from Mr. Borodai to Malaysia.
So no conditions?
No, there is no condition at all.
Malaysian experts have certified that they were not tampered with.
Well, to manage that ballot box is not that easy. I was requested by the OSCE. They want the black box to be given to them in Kharkiv railway station. I was entered by the FBI. They approached me to show them the black box. I said no. At Kiev, against the Ukraine government's forcing us to leave the black box to them. We said no, we cannot allow. And we are going to bring this black box to Fambaros. I cannot understand why must Ukraine involved with the in the investigation. But I do not know why Malaysia was not involved.
Okay.
Excluding one of the main aspects in this tragedy, which is the operator, Malaysia, yeah. From the investigation, it's against the rules. So if somebody in such a historical accident decide to violate so bluntly the law, the conclusion can only be they have something in mind. At least the result of this investigation team must be doubted because it is not the result of an objective investigation. Somebody was missing.
A terror attack. MH17 was flying from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur when a Russian-made missile blew the plane apart.
This is the work of Russian separatists.
And President Obama tonight is confident this plane was brought down by separatists supported by Russia.
They could say conflict zone, but they use this type of words. Instead of saying a missile operated by both sides, a common weapon, they say Russian manufactured book missile. And they leave out that the serial number is a missile that was in Ukraine's possession.
And a Russian-made missile blew the plane apart.
When you read something like that, you'll feel somehow Russia is involved, even though it's a totally different issue. It's a political issue, it's a territorial issue, but now you'll feel, oh, Russia supplied this weapon, they used it, it's out of control, it's their fault. That's the impression you get.
Yeah, this is all world politics lah. Boys, the bigger country, we are stronger, politically influenced in the world.
Unluckily, they don't involve us in their investigation.
There's a big wall in front of us, that's stopping us from getting that next information.
We need somebody to go and investigate properly and see what is actually went wrong. This is human life, so they should try not to use politics or any political influence.
If you had a chance to ask Mr. Westerbeck, head of JT, any question, what would you ask?
Why did the West insist on us handing over the materials there? We could have conducted the investigation here. We could have conducted it in a very transparent manner. If you really want to show you're unbiased, hold it in a neutral country.
It's been shot down, somebody have to take the blame, There must be a scapegoat, So who's going to take the blame?
Wie denkt u dat het toestel heeft neergehaald?
Rusland, ik denk dat ook wel, ja.
De Russen, ja. Vrij zeker.
There was a thing from Russian, a rocket launcher, right?
Je hoorde de John Kerry, je hoorde Mark Rutte, je hoorde Hillary Clinton, Obama. Je hoorde alleen maar Rusland, Rusland. Als je in zo'n verwerkingsproces zit, dan word je die kant automatisch opgeduwd. Dus ik kreeg een eigen woede die ik niet kon. Dat mijn eerste gedachte was, ik ga erheen.
That day, Willem Grootscholte flew to Bali, where he had met the love of his life. He was happy. His best friend Ron already had a hard time saying goodbye to his buddy, just to learn a few hours later that he had lost Willem forever.
Je beseft het helemaal niet. Ik heb gehuild. Mijn dochtertje heeft mij voor het eerst zien huilen. Het was gewoon een echte vriendschap. We waren ook echt oprecht eerlijk tegen elkaar. Met scheldpartijen, met emoties, met huilen. Maar het was meer familie als vriend. Het is de eerste keer dat ik hier ben en het roept heel veel emoties op. Woede, onbegrip, onrust. Ik vind het monument mooi, ik ben blij dat ik er ben. Het is voor mij nog steeds een aardsbegrip dat het nog niet afgesloten is. Ik kan het nog niet afsluiten. Dus het is voor mij nog steeds belangrijk wie het gedaan heeft. Ik wil mij niet ergens naartoe laten duwen.
The wreckage of MH17 was still burning when the Ukrainian security service already posted phone taps online as proof that the rebels are guilty.
Только что сбили самолет, группа минера за Янакиева упал.
Летчики.
Поехали искать и фотографировать сбитый самолет.
Короче, стопудово гражданский борт.
Het Openbaar Ministerie verdenkt de 4 genoemde verdachten ervan dat zij nauw hebben samengewerkt om de bukteler te krijgen en in stelling te brengen op de afvuurlocatie met als doel een vliegtuig neer te schieten. Informatiebijeenkomst voor alle nabestaanden.
One of the few things that the official investigation doesn't hide is that they accept SBU phone taps as evidence.
Joost Niemeller, mijn vraag is, wat is de bron van de tapverslagen?
Dat zijn vooral tapgesprekken van de Oekraïense dienst.
Voornamelijk, zijn er ook nog andere bronnen?
Nee, het is tapgesprekken uit Oekraïne, om het nog even simpel te zeggen. Ja.
Записи, которые опубликовала СБУ, они утверждают, что это было 17 июля разговоры. Это правда?
Ну, по крайней мере, разговор с боцманом, который, я говорю о том, что мы сбили Су-25, я нахожусь в Степановке. Этот разговор состоялся ранее, 16-го, а с утра 17-го я находился уже в Донецке.
А как-то это можно проверить?
Ну, естественно, это может подтвердить Великая Украинская СБУ, у которых есть биллинг моего телефона.
То есть разговор, который они выложили, голос там ваш, я правильно понимаю?
Да, голос мой.
Голос ваш, разговор был, но был не в ту дату. Что еще?
Но они перекроили все.
Listening to Dubinsky, I was thinking about important information that I had already obtained about the first phone taps published by the SBU on the day of the tragedy.
Hi. Hi, Akash. Hi. Diana. Hi.
I'm Navid.
In Malaysia, we found certified audio experts who prepare reports for court cases. They verified the authenticity of the phone taps for us.
This is left channel, right channel, they are just totally different. I can see there is a difference of the noise, and I also can see they are basically some kind of merging of an audio.
This is edited.
Yes, it's edited.
That's clear.
Yes.
How is it clear?
So look at the noise level, right? The noise level is different from this audio track. If you see this audio track, the noise level at this area, they're different. And this is lower, and this is higher.
Which means that this part of the conversation is compiled of different parts of different conversations.
Yes, it's a merging of different audio. Yes.
Merging of
These two are same sound. You can hear? So suddenly he added this particular word here, probably to hide something to make the length. And here you can see so many cuts. This is clear.
Oh, these are cuts, yeah?
Yeah, you can see. Missing audio. What is this conversation? It could be there's some conversation here, they just cut it, and then just leave the last part.
Yeah.
You can see that.
It looks the strangest,
Yeah.
you know, like
You see?
so different.
Yeah, it clearly shows that these are two different recordings.
These experts prepared for us a detailed 143-page report about these phone taps.
Voornamelijk, zijn er ook nog andere bronnen?
Nee, het is tapgesprekken uit Oekraïne, om het nog even simpel te zeggen. Ja.
The SBU will provide 20 different phone taps for the prosecution team. And okay, the one that was tampered in the very first, yeah, they cheated, okay, but it's not part of the evidence. So the other 20 you can trust because we checked it and we couldn't find no mistakes. Let's say that's what the prosecution team says, then...
No, this is not the way it works. You know the saying, and this saying is true, on any objective procedure, the person who lies once lies always. So if somebody lies, obviously lies, has bad intention.
Does it make the whole phone tap evidence from SBU worthless, or is that too strong an indicator?
Maybe not completely worthless, but a judge would very, very suspiciously look into these things. And if he has the slightest doubt, then he would say, well, to be on the safe side, I don't believe.
Как вы узнали о падении Боинга и что после этого последовало?
О падении Боинга я узнал от премьер-министра Александра Юрьевича Бородая вечером того же дня, в районе 23 часов, вот мое оцепление привезло мне 2 черных ящика. Я эти черные ящики не вскрытые, не поврежденные отвез премьер-министру.
Даже мысли не было как-то их припрятать.
А зачем? Прячет тот, кто виноват, что там. Ни я, ни мои подчиненные. Никакого отношения к тому, что сбили пассажирский самолет, не имеем. Мало того, ни я, ни мои подчиненные ни от кого не получали каких-то приказов.
А что тогда делать с переговорами с перехваченными СБЮ? Как вы прокомментируете записи?
Да очень просто прокомментировать. Пусть они выложат полную версию переговоров, и там будет видно, о чем, собственно, говорится.
The idea to verify the authenticity of the SBU phone taps came from our friend, independent German journalist Billy Six. He already addressed this issue with a German audio expert 3 years ago.
Also ich habe insgesamt 9 Manipulationen festgestellt. Es gibt sehr, sehr viel Spielraum, wo man sagen könnte, also da hätte man so viel drehen, schrauben und verändern können. Und ich zweifle die Authentizität dieser Aufnahmen an.
Billy was also at the crash site, looking for bug witnesses and other evidence.
When I was invited there as a witness to speak to the GIT, it didn't end very good between us, because my impression was that this kind of investigation doesn't try to discover the truth.
You used electron microscope to check alien fragments for metal remnants and glass remnants. How many impact holes in the wreckage itself did you check with such kind of electron microscope?
Nee, zo'n specifieke informatie is hier niet bekend. Dus dat zouden we na moeten vragen, maar hier kan ik die vraag niet beantwoorden.
And I also wrote them emails and never ever got any kind of answer to the question, however I asked it.
The attitude of the Dutch investigation towards the wreckage startled me from the very beginning. It took them 4 months to come collect parts of the plane for the first time. But a lot of the debris was still left behind. A year after the tragedy, locals showed us quite big and seemingly important parts of the wreckage, part of the cockpit. We were also quite shocked that the local mayor refused to take them over.
Зачем вот эту сенсацию делать? Мне она не надо вот это. Не надо. Я не хочу такой сенсации.
Dutch journalists who accompanied the mayor didn't seem to be interested in the wreckage either. We had more luck with the head of a nearby village. She accepted the parts without any problem and promised to hand them over to the Dutch. Soon after the scandal with the wreckage, the mayor was removed from his office. These parts of the plane are in the Netherlands for a long time now, but they have never been placed on the layout of MH17. And 5 years on, we keep finding new ones.
Тяжелый. Как вы нашли части самолета?
Случайно в бурьянах наткнулся, заблестела тут часть какая-то. Потом мы его погрузили с хлопцами, и чтобы убрать его, что надо было убрать, оно мешало.
We handed over these parts to the administration of Petropavlovka, just like the last time. У нас есть часть от Боинга.
Ого, а куда ж мы его будем ложить? Какой он большой.
But let's go back to the official investigation. They presented a reconstruction of the route the book took to the launch site based on photos and videos from social media.
This image appeared on the internet shortly after the crash of MH17. The JIT used it as evidence that the rebels transported the launcher exactly on the 17th of July 2014.
One of the experts in our team noticed an interesting detail in the photo, the silhouette of a man in the window of the building opposite the parking lot.
We found this man and talked to him.
Я узнал свой силуэт. Здесь еще была другая москитная сетка. Но это событие произошло не 17-го, а накануне. За день или за два. Это два события мною разнесены во времени, это однозначно. То есть проезд вот этой техники, если это техника, и событие Грабова, ну в смысле падение самолета, это в разные дни произошло. У меня просто привычка реагировать на все.
Да?
Супруга по окнам не бегает, а мне было как бы интересно.
So the date doesn't seem to be the same as the investigation claims.
Let's check the official launch site now.
This is rebel territory. According to the JIT, this is where the Russian book was placed.
And here's the village where Valentina Kovalenko lives, the star witness of the book missile in the BBC documentary.
Начнем с того, что это замок даже не наш.
Замок не ваш?
Нет.
Вообще не ваш?
А
это где? Это же не Красный
Понятия
Октябрь.
не имею. Это вообще... Нет, двор наш. Церковь, в Времовке у нас шикарная церковь. Это
вообще не оттуда.
Не оттуда.
It is highly likely that attention to detail and accuracy are not the strongest sides of BBC correspondents.
Therefore, we decided to help them and convey Valentina's story in more detail.
Ну, мы с девками копали картошку. Такой взрыв. Я что-то глянула в небо. Первая мысль была, почему сбитый самолет летит вверх, а не вниз падает. У него сзади как огонь.
Откуда ракета вылетела?
Ну, где-то с этого района.
А что у нас там за район?
Степановка.
Степановка – это какая, чья территория?
Ну, тогда там укропы были в тот момент. Ну, я здесь стояла,
Может быть,
получается,
туда
вот здесь.
ушел?
Не, он прямо так шел.
Вот так, на зените,
да.
туда.
Ну, практически над нами пролетела.
Но официальная версия, ракет стартовал отсюда, 2 километра отсюда.
Мне ж сзади глаз нету, я ж спиной стояла. Когда мы услышали хлопок, повернулись, она уже летела.
Понятно. The more we looked for the bug and its missile, the more confused we got.
Our findings did not match the official version. Different dates, different evidence, different direction of the missile.
Maybe even a different type of missile.
So what do we know for sure after these 5 years?
Два военных летело. Мы смотрим в небо пассажирские, начали их обстреливать, и они поднялись прямо под пассажирский. Мы еще ругали, говорю, неужели нельзя отменить рейсы эти?
This happened some days before the crash, but what was it like that very day?
Военный самолет пролетел, вот, в поле зрения, пролетел, взял восточнее и ушел.
100% был военный самолет, 100%. Вот ровно вот здесь был маленький серебряный военный был самолет. Вот ровно вот здесь. Это не только я видел.
Хлопок был, пуск ракеты, это очевидно было. Просто я в ракетных войсках служил. Понятия имею, что такое бук и что такое ракета с самолета.
Спрячется, это уйдет, и звук уходит в ту сторону, в торец. Потом возвращается опять сюда. Он кружил, несколько кругов сделал. И вот он выпустил и сразу туда улетел.
Everybody is so convinced the official narrative cannot even be questioned. And what really struck me was one of these statements made by a JIT representative. He said something like the area where the plane came down is too dangerous in order to do any serious investigation. That JIT told something which was not true. After that, I decided to dive in a little bit more deeper into the investigation.
To check his doubts, Stefan went to the crash site himself. In Donetsk, he was able to interview a military air traffic controller of the Ukrainian armed forces, who said that Kiev had misinformed the investigation about the military radar not working on the day of the crash.
Они все работали.
Все работало.
Все находились в полной боевой готовности.
Говорят, что там делали ремонт 17 июля.
Она ж не одна. Их там 3 штуки.
Именно на Чугуев.
Да, там резервная станция, которая оттуда вылетала боевая авиация.
Значит, что эти здания этого дня есть?
Есть они. В Украине они есть.
The Ukrainian government was fully aware of this danger. We have no indications that they warned anybody. So they obviously exposed the civilian aircraft to a real lethal danger. In this case, the organization, Ukrainian government, who leads the investigation, could also be responsible for the crash by not closing the airspace.
We are interested in the rule of law, in justice for everyone, irrespective of who is involved. We have to know who actually fired the missile, and then only we can accept the report as a complete truth.
Freight floor.